Hey, this is Nat from Update Gaming, and you're listening to The Center Ring.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello. Whoa. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to The Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, episode 196, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, December 4th, 2019. The time, 9:37 p.m. Central Time. As you heard from Naf, who sounded like we had him at gunpoint, by the way. I never really noticed that. We'll dissect that here in a moment. But this is going to be the best episode ever, because for the first time in the history of the Center Ring, we can actually, for real now, talk about Halo. Not just memories, not just why does Halo 5 suck and no one watches it, but actually talk about playing Halo. It feels good. It only took 15 years. Feels good. We got Zen in Twitch chat. We stream every episode live on Twitch, YouTube, I believe Mixer, if I can get it working. But we do everything. No one buys us out. No one. Unless they offer. We're really cheap. Like, you put us on the front page like twice. If you feature us, you're good. You're good. So we got
just
Halo.
Partner us, you know?
Yeah, right.
Just even a partnership. There we go.
Get it to where our subscribe button works. How about that, Twitch? How about help us out with that? Because we have it. We just can't get it working. We got Halo. We got CSGO. What could have been for CSGO. A lot of our issues of wondering why Valve isn't doing something seems like it's all the players' fault. We'll talk about that. ESL Pro League started up. We're going to dive into that a little bit. Check out what's going on so far. And, of course, E-News, our episode segment that we just get to all the things that we didn't have time to in the headlines. But first, follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. YouTube, you guessed it, also The Center Ring. Website, tcr.gg. Join the Discord. Hit up iTunes. Leave a like. Leave a review. We appreciate it. Love you for that. And let's say hi to the crew. Hello, my name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports. And alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend, Anuj.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Man, long day. Long day. So I'm glad to end it here with you, with our listeners, talking some esports. Having a baby is a lot of work. We had a tongue tie surgery and never really knew what that was, but we got that done today. So now we get to do like tongue lip exercises, which doesn't sound that bad, but then you imagine it's a 3-month-old that you're trying to do it with, and it's
making the little one uncomfortable.
It is miserable. It is absolutely miserable.
Hopefully we can take you away to an oasis for like an hour over here where we get to talk some esports and something we've been waiting to talk about for, God, I mean, the 125 plus episodes I've been on the show.
Like how long? Yeah, as soon as they announced Halo PC. I want to address one thing. So in Twitch chat, Zen says the real issue is he cannot play Rocket League because the newest Epic update busted the game and it crashes on him all the time. Very funny you bring that up, Zen, because for our listeners, me and Zen are friends on Steam. And as we were playing Halo like 2 hours ago, Anuj can attest to this, Zen. I was having a mini rage fit at you because all I kept seeing in the bottom of my screen was you logging on to Rocket League like 100 times. I was like, what is Zen doing? Just like, leave the game open. Just play the game.
Zen is rage quitting at the game right now or something.
Like, just play the game. Stop quitting. It makes sense, though, if it kept crashing for you. So I forgive. I forgive. I apologize. So, other than that, I did want to bring this up. Have you ever listened? So our NAF liner, which is obviously from way back when he was at Optic Gaming. Have you ever?
Optic Gaming.
I said that a little weird, didn't I?
Yeah.
Optic.
Optic.
Felt like my little Michiganian accent coming out. Every once in a while, it sneaks up on you. Much like people in the South, right? People from Texas normally, like, they'll be talking and then all of a sudden they'll be like, howdy. And you're like, what happened? You don't talk like that.
Why did that happen just now?
Yeah, and with me, a little bit of Optic. We're going to talk some Optic Gaming here. Don't you know? No, listen to this NAF liner.
Hey, this is Nat from Optic Gaming, and you're listening to the Center Ring.
Why does he sound panicked? I believe you got that liner. What were you doing to him?
I probably had him cornered.
I
said, look.
He just saw someone.
Guy.
He saw someone, a little tan skin, run up to him.
Like,
just instantly, oh, I'm Naf from Optic Gaming. Please.
Tim said all those things.
Please, I'm Naf.
Hey, this is Nat from Optic Gaming, and you're listening to the Center Ring.
He wanted to get away from you so fast.
He's like, dude, right now before the match, like, yes. In case y'all lose, I won't get you after.
He just wanted to get away from you so bad. Man, good times. Speaking of good times, Anuj, we played a little bit of Halo. The Master Chief Collection released on the 3rd, same day as the update for COD. Played a little bit, but man, Halo has been taking up my time. Do you want to just kind of go over first impressions and everything? Because I know there's already been some e-news or esports news that's come out for it a little bit.
You know what's funny is Apex released their update the same day also on PC. So
same
you had
day.
Apex, Call of Duty, and Halo all running on the same day with new content. No, yeah, you're right. They did. They brought up a tweet came out. Tim, who's the gentleman that tweeted it? You remember his name?
He's the head of Halo's esports, who doesn't respond to me on Twitter every time I try to get him on the show.
Well, we're gonna try again because that's what we do.
We're not giving up. We don't take no for an answer. Everyone knows that here.
We don't. You can ask Naf. Yeah. So the head of their esports side, I guess, he came out and tweeted that if you're going to be playing competitive, if you're interested in the competitive side of Halo, I suggest you practice on PC.
Toshi,
and obviously
TASHI.
Stirs the pots, gets people talking, gets people excited. I think that's what a lot of people have wanted, for a long time.
And we've asked about it for a long time, right? Like,
yeah,
how are we going to see? Because the only other example of a game like this, right, like started on console and now is PC dominant. Maybe you might say Rainbow, but Siege kind of always took over on PC. I felt like for a little bit they tried doing 2 pro leagues, like one on PS4, one on PC, and PS4 just never really took off. So then they went to PC. But this is the first time that I think you would see a console dominant game. I mean, it was never even on PC unless you count CE and 2 from 15 years ago, which I don't. Like Call of Duty, yeah, it's on PC now. And yes, it's cross-platform. So I guess theoretically you might be able to see a PC player get into the Pro League at one point in time. Maybe. But I mean,
is that allowed? Do you know?
I don't know. No, I don't know. I mean, I would like to think it's allowed. Just like in Overwatch League, I don't think there's any rules of if you want to use a controller, right?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I thought it would be against the rules.
I don't know.
Just one way or the other. I mean, and we'll kind of get into this in a moment. But yeah, you're right. Like, they're obviously prefacing this because they believe that Halo Infinite down the line is going to be like a competitive PC game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds like why else would you?
Well, and let's face
that
it.
Now,
Halo Master Chief Collection and Halo 5 has been out for Xbox One forever, right?
Yeah.
Those games are dead. Like, that pro scene is dead. You've had big orgs like Optic leave it. I mean, even like their championship gets 20, 30,000, maybe goes around 50,000, depending on the team and who's talking about it. For all intents and purposes, though, that was a sinking ship, or at least a docked ship. It wasn't going anywhere. So I feel like this has so much hype built around it. you're seeing all the old Halo pros that left. Like, you know, I hate to say it, but like, it's cool to see Ninja playing Halo again, even though I didn't like him back when he played Halo, right? But it's cool to see him like
Snipe down and these guys. I mean, all these guys are back playing it right now, especially if you're watching.
Well,
their
especially like with
streams.
the excitement, right? Like,
Yeah.
like Naded, I watch him all the time on Twitch, a former pro. And it's like he still played, but it's like you could tell he played just because that was his game. That's what his viewers were wanting.
Yeah.
I didn't get that like that glimmer in his eyes, like, oh, can't wait to play some Halo. Like, it's just like he would sit there and be like, oh my god, I can't believe we got a game in this. Okay, let's go.
That was his job, probably more than enjoyment at this point.
Right. So I think it's fun to see a classic game get released on a PC and having that old scene come back to it and possibly be playing it again on a PC. As we said, who knows if they can use a controller? I don't know. But yeah, I think, you know, Microsoft and 313 Studios kind of viewed this as, we need to treat this as if it's a brand new release, right? Like, you are going to have people who have never played Halo before playing this, treat it as a new release, and use it as a way to, you know, as a jumping off point for your esports scene. That's used to be dominant, right? It used to be like a one of the best in the world when MLG had it, and it kind of just fell apart. So it would be interesting to see now how they're treating it.
You can tell they're treating it well just because of how they ran the beta, right? I mean, the beta was one of those things where it was a closed beta throughout.
Don't remind me. Very salty about it.
They obviously invited pro type individuals, you know, people with a unique skill set.
A unique skill set. Now, that's not wrong.
They bring something to the table.
You do have a
And
unique skill set.
Obviously, with my invite and all the amazing feedback that I gave this team, and I appreciate them listening to everything I gave them. They treated the beta really well, though. I thought they went into the beta with the mindset of, this is actually a beta. Like, hey, we're gonna get feedback. We're going to tweak the game. We're not going to release this to the masses. We don't want them to play the game.
It wasn't an early access.
Well, so look, you and me both played, right, when I was in the beta. Again, when I was in the beta.
I went to your house.
Yeah, we both had a chance to play it. It didn't feel great initially. You know, I don't think it felt...
It honestly felt bad.
Yeah,
I didn't say it out loud because I didn't want to jinx it, and I wanted good vibes for it. But the beta did not feel good to me.
I thought the mouse felt clunky, the movement, right? From what I heard, it was good on controller. The experience wasn't bad on controller, but for mouse and keyboard users, which is the new group they're trying to bring in, I didn't think it felt that great. So I actually, you know, had my excitement die down. As the betas went on, you saw it improve. They just had the most recent one, which was like the competitive matchmaking one that you can go into. But even then, it felt like good, not great. Tim, after the official release and getting to play since yesterday, it feels awesome on mouse and keyboard. I mean, I really feel comfortable in the game. I don't feel like there's lag on the mouse. It doesn't feel heavy. It's very fluid with mouse and keyboard. It
feels like a PC game.
It does. It really does. Now,
and I know because in the beta too, like the issue that a lot of people were having is like it felt good on certain FOVs. But like me, I've played around with the FOVs because at first Halo with a wide FOV just felt weird to me. But I put it back to my normal. I play 103 pretty much on every game because it's what Overwatch use, and I'm just used to it at this point.
It just feels right.
It just feels right, except for like Counter-Strike. I think I play on a lower one,
like 11.
I think I do really play on like a low FOV.
You just have a dot in the middle of your screen. That's all you can see.
Feels like it sometimes. But no, yeah, I think the game feels great, especially like you've never really played, so you don't really have much to go off of. But like with me, I feel like everything's registering well. It feels like Halo. You can get your 3-shot kills and things like that. The melees feel good. Melee, you know, cancellations and things, all that line up to what I remember. But you know, I was really worried for you because I've hyped it up for like a year now, right? I've every time we bring it up, I'm like, we're playing this game. We're playing the game. We're playing the game. And I was worried that if it sucked, like if it was a bad launch, I was like, Anuj will never play this game again because I know you, and if it's a bad launch or not
I'm
fun,
moving on.
you are
I'm
done.
moving on.
Yes, you
Moving
give
on
no second chance.
We have so many other games to play. It's not
Do
like
we?
I'm at a
Do we?
okay. Call of Duty. I'm really enjoying that
Yeah.
right now. So honestly, to pull me away from Call of Duty right now is like pretty tough because I'm really enjoying Call of Duty. Like after playing it for some time and getting a little bit more used to those god awful maps that are still bad, but the gunplay feels so good in that game that like I'm enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it, especially with the new battle pass out. That's been fun. I've been going back and forth. But yeah, the launch for me, getting a chance. I'll tell you. This is going to kind of lead into my next thing I want to go into because this was exciting to see. One thing that excites me for Halo right off the bat is they came out with a rank system from day one.
Unheard
Like
of.
I get to go into a
Unheard of.
game. I played for about an hour, just kind of goofed around, felt sensitivity, wanted to see what felt right, how the gun mechanics worked. And then I was like, Tim, let's jump into competitive.
Well, because
Like,
remember,
let
I
me-
told you too. The beauty of it is, even though casual, it's fun in Halo. It is not what you should be playing because it's got radar, it's got stupid ability crap classes with Reach. This all dies off with 3 and 2 and all that. But with Halo Reach, they have all that, and I was like, this sucks, right? Just having a radar sucks in general. So I was like, competitive does not have this.
We went in and I thought it was great. I really did. I thought the competitive game modes, obviously, like I said, it's all really fresh to me. So
You don't know the maps. You don't know where the power-up
No.
weapons are. Or
no idea.
it's so funny.
and
Like, I'm
competitive
watching a
game-
Nuge play, and he'll run right by a sniper rifle. I'm like, buddy, what are you doing?
They all
pick
look
it
the
up.
same to me on the ground. They all look the same. No, I mean, but yeah, like it was competitive. I mean, all the games I've been in have been super competitive. Whether I'm doing good or I'm doing bad, they're close matches. I like the ranking system. It keeps me engaged.
You don't know any of the
Um,
maps.
Don't know any of the maps. Still don't know any of the maps really. Like
I'm like
call
over
outs and all
here.
that.
This is what I have to do, okay? Because again, I've played a lot of Halo. This was my game growing up because we're old. So it was actually really funny. We were playing with someone, and a guy was like, "Man, I don't know Halo." And he was like, "I played it, but I was super young." I was like, "Yeah, me too." It's like this
I was
wasn't
27 when it came out.
yeah, right, this wasn't my wheelhouse or anything. No, I gotta lower my expectations though, right? Because I go in and I'm doing call outs. I'm try hard. I'm sweaty, right? I'm here to get headshots and I'm here to win. I go right back into my high school days where I played this game competitively and I want to win. And I'm like, there's snipe 2, snipe blue, blue 2, blue. It's like, and I could just tell. No one has any. And it's funny though because
You were calling out shoddy, and I just kept going. I don't even know what that means. What is shot? Shoddy is the player that plays for the Empire. Like, who are we talking about here?
And it is funny though because you can really tell the people who have played Halo and the people who haven't. Because I don't want to brag. I'm a hard carry right now. I feel,
Tim is a hard carry,
and
right
it won't
now.
be like this forever. I know this. I don't play enough to really excel anymore. It's just life gets in the way. But right now, I feel like a god. I am a hard carry.
Knowing the maps, knowing where the weapons are, like that stuff is like a real advantage right now. Because again, there's got to be a ton of people like me out there right now that didn't own Xboxes growing up. Maybe came from the PlayStation world. I know a lot of my friends did. We all had PlayStations the whole time, and I played it so casually. I know there's a lot of people out there like that are experimenting with it because the price point, $10, right? If you don't want to buy the whole Master Chief
Yeah, if
collection,
you just want to get
wanna
your feet wet.
Reach, it's $10 to get in. Like you're gonna
And that's
get
for
a
the
lot
campaign, the multiplayer, like a full
Mhm.
game.
yeah,
full
full
game.
game, and then you can you can still buy the future ones, and
And the
it'll kinda make
graphics
that
aren't bad.
package
Like
for
the
you.
graphics don't. I think it says original graphics on there, but it doesn't look bad to me. They look simple, right? They look
I'm
like a game
playing-
that was made 10 plus years ago, but it looks good.
I'm committing a FPS sin, and I'm playing on an ultra wide, and it looks gorgeous on there. I mean, it looks really good. Like it's a very clean look. It runs smooth. Like again, really enjoyed it. Having the ranking system for me has been nothing but a plus.
And
It's
the
allowed me to
beauty
play
of
the
the
game.
ranking system, it's not just a rank ladder. It's with pro settings. It says it right there in the game based off of MLG version 7 settings.
Yeah.
Like Activision, Infinity Ward, right there. Like that's how you do it. Your game comes out, you have the competitive ladder with the pro rule sets ready to go. The servers weren't clunky. I can't believe how smooth this launch went.
Yeah, really no major issues. I mean, as far as I have not had problems finding a game, getting into a game. I know I've seen some stuff, but for the most part, the hype on Twitter has been pretty fantastic. I mean, you're seeing people, like you said, get into the game for a second time, or people experiencing it for the first time. But it seems like everybody's enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing negative feedback, and I think my excitement is honestly to get to do the campaign. Number one, I very rarely say that, but I'm very curious about the
Right.
Halo world, because I've seen like the red versus blue cartoons, and like I get a general idea of what it is, but I don't know the actual story. So
Right. And that's
that'll
something
be fun
I
to
think
see.
we're trying to figure out a day where we can both stream it. We'll do the
Yeah.
co-op and everything.
So we'll go through that and do the campaigns, and I'm excited that it's gonna feel fresh every couple of months, right? Because we're about to see a release every few months for Halo in order for them to meet the timeline of hitting it by the end of 2020, right? When they
Yeah.
have the release of Halo Infinite. So
And that's
we'll
where it'll
have
get
it-
interesting though, right? Because right now, the only thing that's out is Reach, meaning everyone who wants to play Halo is on there. Now, it's been a while since I played all of them, but my brain tells me Halo 2 or 3 is the dominant one. Like, I'm going to probably play Halo 3, maybe even Halo 2 more. But
The
that
way
could
it
just be
looks in the
nostalgia
settings,
thinking.
though, is through the Master Chief Collection. You can select multiple games and then game modes within that game.
Yeah,
when you're
I'm just saying, like,
matchmaking,
from a
right?
competitive standpoint, like, if the pros are only playing Halo 3, then that's what I'll play.
But
It's just-
eventually, it'll all be irrelevant in my mind. I think everyone will move to Infinite when that comes out, right? Because they're gonna have their own setup, and everyone will
yeah,
like whatever is happening right now. To me, is just temporary. It's all just like a build up until
Right.
we get to Infinite.
we'll
and
see.
Then the
We'll see,
community-
because
There'll be the same thing that it is now. It'll be splintered small communities of Halo fans that are still playing the hardcore Halo 2, Halo 3. Might be a little bit bigger because it's on PC, so more
right.
users are available to play it. But I feel like a majority of people will switch over to Infinite, assuming it's good.
Like I
it's
said
gonna
though,
have
because for like the
updated
last year or
graphics.
so, they have been playing on Halo 3. Like the pro scene is back on Halo 3.
Yeah. Because
so,
that,
I mean,
that's like
they
kind of the
have-
best one, and they all know that.
Yeah, they've taken
It's
that
all
step back. So I don't
You
know.
think it would stay a big scene after Infinite comes out? Like a real, relevant scene?
I don't know, because PC gamers are different like that, right? They will stick with the better game, I feel like. Like, if they feel like Reach or 3 or 2 is the better competitive scene, and that's what the pros agree on, I could see that sticking that way. I mean, look at Counter-Strike. How
Counter-Strike didn't do that, though, with 1.6, right? Like, they did it through, like, Source, but, like, once CSGO
well, once CSGO came
became
out,
the focus
right.
for the developer.
well, like 1.6,
which in-
I could tell you,
like-
I played Source only a handful because I was like, this is trash. And I played 1.6 for a long time. It was a long time before I decided to go to Source. A long time.
And this is a long time between Halo 3 and Halo Infinite, right? There's been, like, 4, 5, Reach. All of these have been like that. Those kind of, these haven't been as good as that previous one was, right? Wasn't there
Right.
like multiple Halos in between? So hopefully, if Infinite does the job,
Yeah.
it will be the primary game that people go to, and this is just a
Yeah.
build up to it. But regardless, they're doing an amazing job. It's a great game. It's a lot of fun. It's bringing people into the Halo world. I'm excited to see the reactions from everybody. And man, we're seeing some awesome montages already.
Dude,
I don't
Halo
know if you've,
montages
like-
are classic.
They're great. They really are something.
I don't know what it is,
special.
but like they're better than Counter-Strike montages. They're better than COD. They're just, I don't know, to get you warm and fuzzy inside.
Those sniper ones, dude. They're
And-
those are the ones
for
that
me-
get me excited.
Like it's cool too, like seeing streamers get on board, right? Like Doc and stuff were playing it, and he even said, he's like, this feels great. He's like, just
Yeah.
wait until Halo 3 is released, right? He's like, this already though feels really good to play.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think the future for Halo is looking very bright. I think they are. It seems they haven't announced anything, but it seems like they're going to go about the esports side of it the right way, going on PC and who knows. I would love to see a Halo World Cup or like a Halo Gauntlet where these teams play every single one of them.
That would be cool. What I would be curious to see is if they limit it to like just mouse and keyboard or controller allowed. Because right now, from everything I'm reading, controller is by far superior to mouse and
Oh,
keyboard.
it's still so controllers still have that aim assist.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
bad.
They said the aim assist is very strong with controller. Like all the pro players are using controller still.
Of course, because that's what they're used to, right?
Yeah, no, but they're all like I mean, I'm kind of seeing it across the board that these guys are all saying controller is still significantly the better choice from a high level competitive standpoint compared to mouse and keyboard. And even big players like Liquid Mendo. Mendo is one of the best Apex players. Even he said he's playing on, and he's a mouse and keyboard guy for Apex, and he's playing on controller.
Really?
I'm saying that the aim assist is pretty strong. So if you're a strong controller player, you're probably benefiting from that right now, and that'll be interesting to see how they also kind of handle and tweak that as we go along. I don't think you can tweak that too much, unfortunately, because of uncapped frame rates and all that. But it'll be interesting to see how they handle that.
Yeah. Yeah, because you almost think if it's that bad, it would almost be nice to say, don't party or don't put me against people with controllers or something. I don't know if there's any way to do that and regulate it properly, like who's to say that he's not just going to plug one in halfway through the, a pug match or something like that. But
well, yeah, then you start running into issues of people using, like, I could plug in a Zim into my PC
and mimic
and
it,
plug in my mouse and keyboard into it, and then you have a mouse and keyboard on controller aim assist,
right.
And so yeah, those are things that they'll have to keep an eye on. But again, so far, A+, been awesome. Probably going to play here in about 35 minutes as soon as we wrap up the show.
Yeah, I'm loving it, and I'm glad you're liking it. If any listeners are playing, of course, you know what to do. Hit us up in Discord, and we can get some customs going, because that's really the beauty of Halo is when you can get customs going. You just run MLG settings all night and day. So that's good stuff here. Also, speaking of good stuff, or maybe not so good, in Counter-Strike, we have the ESL Pro League going on, which we'll touch on here in a moment. But I wanted to get to this first, because this actually broke about a week or so ago, and we waited to talk about it on today's episode just so we had more to discuss. But recently on the Tasteless podcast, hosted by, you guessed it, Tasteless, he had Moses on from CSGO. And the topic of TI, the international, came up with CSGO, and why doesn't CSGO have one when Dota has one? Obviously they're ran by the same company and Valve, everything like that. Moses addressed that. I'll play the audio here real quick of what he said, and then we can just discuss the concept in general.
They want to do different approaches and see what works better. I know we've had a couple conversations with them, especially early on in Counter-Strike. We were asked if we wanted an international. And pretty much unanimously, the pros and people involved in CS esports said no, which I mean, who knows? That could have been a mistake. But they do things pretty differently. Dota has way more devs. I think Dota has like 3 or 4 times the developers that Counter-Strike has. And I think that fluctuates as well based off the way that Valve operates as a company. So we have different ecosystems, different people working on the games, and different philosophies on how to achieve, I guess, a similar goal.
So when I first read the article and when I first heard that, Anuj, I won't lie to you, I didn't know if I should be upset, if I should be sad. It rattled my cage. It shook my world, because this entire time, what has been the one complaint by everyone who's a fan of CSGO? The number one complaint, other than the tick rate.
Gavin does not love it, and we don't have a international.
100%. Every year, I will bet all my money, every year the TI starts up with Dota, everybody in Counter-Strike always says, you will see a post on Reddit, why don't we have a crowdfunded event? Why don't we have a TI? Valve doesn't care. Gabe's never been to a major before, blah, blah, blah. It never fails. It always happens when the TI starts. And we've even said it on this podcast before, like Valve needs to start caring more. Why don't they do a TI? Just do it. Have a crowdsourced, make that prize pool huge and give CS the love it deserves. And then to come to find out that the only reason it doesn't have all of that is because they're the ones who said no.
And you kind of wonder, was that a one-time discussion at the beginning
And now Valve
of
is just saying no.
CSGO's lifespan, and since then, maybe this is why some of the neglect has been there, right? Or has Valve approached it several times, and
They keep
every time
saying
they've
no.
said no, this is not what we want to do, and maybe that's why we feel like there's some neglect, right? But either way, there has been neglect towards CS:GO.
Yeah, that's
regardless of
without a
if they
doubt.
proposed a TI or not, that still doesn't account for all the neglect that we've had kind of throughout the last couple of years, right? Lack of operations, new maps, if somehow finding a way to work with other developers to bring in new maps if those are ones that have previously been made, changes, and now we're seeing the changes in the economy and all that kind of come in here as of recent, and more updates here recently than we've seen. But still, over time, Dota has gotten a lot more towards its game, I feel like, as a whole, than Counter-Strike has. But yeah, this is pretty surprising news, because I'm surprised it hasn't come out earlier, right? Because this has been such a hot topic year in and year out since like 2014, 2015, whenever the international started. It's been quite some time
Yeah.
now.
When was it?
When you lined it up in terms of what CS goes, when that really started taking off, that question's always been asked. And so if it was asked to several players, I'm surprised none of those players ever leaked that comment before. I'm surprised nobody in the media has gotten wind of it, whether that had been somebody internally from Valve and
And
whatnot.
you wonder,
but
like, what players were involved with that discussion now? Was it... Because you got to think, back then, who were the players they would have talked to? Probably guys from Virtus Pro who aren't around anymore, right? Like I
maybe
wonder
some
if
of
you
the
ask...
from the NIP guys back then,
Yeah.
but yeah, it seems, based on Moses's response, that's still kind of the sentiment, right?
Yeah.
That they wouldn't want it because they're afraid of what it could do to the ecosystem. Does it devalue the rest of the tournaments, and maybe prize pools and sponsors gravitate only towards this one really big tournament that they want to be a part of, rather than the 10 big tournaments a year that they want to be a part of? And
Do
Valve,
you buy into that, though?
I do. I think it would devalue the two majors that we have
Well, I
currently.
think you would definitely... If they had a TI... Because remember, majors are Valve events. It's just... They definitely don't treat them like a TI or anything big.
I don't think it would devalue other events that are just considered big events for whatever reason, because of location or history or whatever, right? Cologne, Katowice, ESL New York. Like, I think those are big events because the best teams attend those events generally. They're in a big market, and ESL puts a lot of money towards them. So those are going to remain big and popular events, and you're still going to have your sponsors like Intel and all these guys for those events that are drawing in, 1 million plus viewers. Like that's still going to be relevant. I think it devalues the majors. So, the majors won't mean as much because the biggest tournament of the year isn't going to be the major.
The majors would have to be like a filter system to the TI, which is like how Dota does it, right? All those filter into the TI, and winners of those are qualifications, and that's how that's treated, as qualifiers for TI.
And if they do stuff like that, then hey, maybe we add like 2 more majors during the year and have like 4 qualifier sessions to maybe give some significance to some sort of qualification period throughout the year to drive up hype or whatever. But
and I'll tell you, one of my first thoughts of it is, I really don't ever want to hear then a player complain that Valve doesn't give enough love for CS. If they truly tried, right? Like, if Valve is like, look, we wanted to do more, they said no, so we're not going to put all of our resources into some event that StarLadder is running, or whoever, right?
yeah, I bet you not every player knew that
No, there's no,
Just,
especially the
like-
newer, younger players, like the younger pros. You think if they asked them right now if you wanted a TI, they would be like, you know what? No, I really enjoy flying from Arlington, Texas to where's ESL at?
Odense,
Odense?
Denmark.
Denmark,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, no, I really enjoyed flying from Texas to Denmark within a matter of days and playing, ECS and ESL back to back. Like, no, this is the ecosystem I want because of sponsors.
Yeah, like I mean, in
And you can't
My
really use
thought
sponsors as an
process is
argument
there's-
when I see the same HyperX commercial every single break. Like, it's like you clearly don't have sponsors if I'm seeing the same sponsor commercial every break of your event. You just have like two sponsors.
maybe it's like a really expensive
Maybe they just pay a lot.
like a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, again, I think there would be a way to do it. I think again, majority of new players will probably be interested in the idea. I don't see why they wouldn't. Again, that doesn't mean that there isn't a reason they shouldn't do it, right? Like I'm just not educated enough to tell you what those reasons from my perspective as a fan, I think it would be badass. Like I really think
Yeah,
it'd be something cool to
100%.
have a $20+ million tournament because you know what, Tim? I'm sweating during the majors already. Like I'm one of those
And
watchers
they're the same
that
price
dives
pool as
in.
half the other
I get
tournaments are.
excited. Like I get, I really get into it already. So I couldn't imagine the feeling knowing like that much is on the line that's going to really change somebody's life. I mean, that's like life-changing money that they experience in Dota. At the very least, maybe if they don't want to go all the way, there's some middle ground that does raise these prize pools because I think CS does need that for the majors. Like I think for the majors to, at least in my mind, feel more important. I know they're important from a historical standpoint, but when there's other tournaments with the same prize pool, like that does devalue it a little bit. And I know one of the things that you said throughout my time on the show is like you hate talking about prize pools. Like you just don't like talking about pools when it comes to tournaments. But with these tournaments, I feel like it matters. With
Yeah.
those 250K dream hacks versus 500K dream hack events. Okay, whatever. Like I hope
Well,
those teams.
and I guess this is where prize pools bother me is when some random dude in Dubai decides to throw $1 million at some CS:GO event for the first time ever. You've never heard of it before, and all of a sudden he throws, say, $2 million on a prize pool, and everyone is like, this is the most important tournament of the year. It's like, is it though? Like, yeah, it's a big prize pool, but I don't care about it. Right? Like, and that was my thing, like with Blast Pro. And that's Blast Pro was big thing was their prize pool. And yet you only ever have like 8 teams throughout your entire season. So it's like, who cares? And it's all invited.
Yeah,
That's
like
my
I mean,
beef.
the prize pool matters if everything else is right around it, right? Blast
Yeah.
Pro had other issues when it came to the formatting of the tournament. Like that was not well received by majority of the people. But I think if you have more money involved in a major, it does generate more hype around it, right? If a major in
Right.
Counter-Strike was $10 million at least versus 1 million, like that would be a huge step. Like, can you imagine how much hype would be around the next major? Although maybe misdirected in terms of excitement from a lot of people because the prize pool is so high, it's still going to generate hype. It's going to be one of the biggest events ever in Counter-Strike history if they up the prize pool by a significant amount. I'm not talking about from 1 million to 2 million or 1 million to 3 million, but like 1 million to 5 million, where the winning team walks out of here with $2 or $3 million. Like that's crazy. Like that's a lot of money. It feels like a lot because we've been at the same point for like 3 years now, where it's been like $1 million prize pool or around there. 2 years.
Yeah. When other events are catching up to you, that's I think the kind of the red flag of like, okay,
Yeah.
like we
And
need
again,
to figure something out.
So I hope again with what Moses is saying that the players don't have interest in it, that maybe there's another solution there, and maybe they should be the ones approaching Valve with some of these ideas. If Valve hasn't come to them since that, an initial discussion.
Yeah, just say, hey, we had this discussion a couple years ago. Us and the Players Association got together, and I think we're ready, right? Like, the scene is mature enough to handle something like this. But I don't think the argument of like it would just destroy the third party tournaments and events and things like that. I think that's a little bogus. I think that's just because there's way too many teams in Counter-Strike and there's way too many companies involved with it now that would just go away.
Counter-Strike is mature enough to where I think that's not the case, though, right? Like, people are used to these tournaments and watching certain
Right.
tournaments, right? Like, CS Summit has its own appeal to certain people. Watching an ESL New York, Katowice, Cologne, like, that's not going to change for me. Like, I think those are still really important in big tournaments. The DreamHacks and things might be affected, but hey, maybe this is a reason for DreamHack to step their game up and find a way to get some bigger teams involved, because they always seem to kind of have that middle of the tier team, right, with one or two big ones thrown
Right.
in. But maybe it bolsters others to do more too. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting take on it that we weren't aware of, and so I think with this knowledge out there, it does change how I feel a little bit, because I've been one of the ones that have been bitching about it too. Like, why can't we have a TI? How awesome would it be to have a TI for Counter Strike? Like,
And then to come to find out, we could have, right? We could have
Yeah.
had a TI
Yeah.
this entire time, and it was just
Yeah,
the players
I mean-
who said no.
but again, I would love to hear more about it from one of the experts in terms of why this would really, or how this would really truly destroy the ecosystem. Besides, it'll devalue the other tournaments. Like, explain to me
Yeah, like
exactly
is
how it would-
Valve saying, "Hey, if we're doing this, we're controlling the seasons and the league, or not the league, but the qualifying tournaments that lead up to it,
Yeah.
or whatnot there." So
And that's where they have the ability to do the right thing there, right? So maybe Valve runs the big main tournament, but tournament organizers all get one major a year, right? Like, ESL
Yeah.
gets one, Starlight.
now I will
gets
tell you
one.
where one issue falls in on this though is the fact that Valve has rules that some of the places don't honor, like the banning rule, right? Like some of the
All
players
of that would be on the way Valve wants to do it ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Like, if they want these, if the players want this done, there's certain things that they would have to go by, and then ultimately that's going to be like what Valve wants, right?
right.
But yeah, you're right. Those are all things that, and exactly, those are some of the things that we're talking about. Like, maybe these are some of the reasons that they also don't have interest. Is there some rules, whether it be coaching rules and things of that sort, that would bother teams? So yeah, but I think all those things should be open to discussion, right? Like, those are not huge breaking points where these are hurdles that can't be overcome. Like, these are little tweaks in the rules, and
Right.
you could really make something special.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you really want to? Do you really want to sacrifice the chance of having something big like a TI or something because some players who cheated or something like that can't play, right?
Yeah, or like I
that's-
said, I mean, the coaching rule could be big in that
Yeah.
situation, right? So we can get Brett on for a little bit more analysis on
Tell us what
that.
the coaching rule is about.
But yeah, I mean, I think there's something cool there. Well, let's see if it ever takes that road, but it doesn't look like it is anytime soon.
No, because like you said, the tone that Moses even had in that little interview was not positive. It wasn't like, "What? You never know." Like, he was kind of
Yeah.
like, "Well, maybe we'll regret it later." Right. So
We have some news coming.
right,
like,
no, definitely not. So what
No.
we do have to worry about, which is what is happening now, and that's the ESL Pro League. Now, obviously, just last weekend the ECS League wrapped up, so now you have ESL Pro League wrapping up. Now, remember, Anuj, when they first started these seasons, and they said, "Guys, don't worry about scheduling. We're working it out. We're working together. You won't have anything overlapping." And all of us, the fans, the players, the orgs, were like, "Oh, what a weight off my chest. Thank you guys for finally being adults and figuring this out so we don't have overlapping tournaments." And they said, no, nothing will be overlapping. However, you do have to travel across the world because when one event's finals end, the other one's going to begin like the next day.
Like less than 24 hours
Less
later.
than 24 hours. That's what they meant. They're not overlapping, but God forbid you make it to the finals at ECS, which is exactly what happened. That's why last week when we spent the entire weekend at ECS to interview people, and finally we got the chance to interview Astralis, and they said, sorry, we can't do it because we have to get on a plane. It's because they had to be back in Denmark within like 48 hours or even less than that to make
like
their
24
first
hours.
match.
Yeah, that was the issue that Liquid ran into, is they got delayed. So it caused a real mess up for them because the match, I think, time was just not possible based on the flight time, the delay that they had, and then it's like a 2.5 hour bus ride from the airport to the location. So it's not just the air travel time; it's the bus travel time. So ESL did them a favor and they gave them North in the first round.
North
They're like,
didn't look that bad. They looked okay.
No, they looked like trash, and then they got smoked by ATK 2-0 and eliminated from this tournament.
Well,
That
they looked
experiment-
trash, but against Team Liquid, they looked okay.
Yeah,
Now,
as a
do you know
whole,
the crazy thing? So if we want to talk about the games right now. So in the first match or the first round of Group B, it was Liquid and North on Vertigo, of course, right? Can you believe this is the first time North played Vertigo? Like in a match. Obviously, I'm sure they scrimmed it and stuff, obviously. But in an actual match, this is the first time North has ever played Vertigo.
I mean, surprising in the sense that there's been several tournaments, but I don't know how many tournaments North have been to in that period of time. And then if you have the ability to veto in all of these tournaments, so maybe they're finally like releasing it into their map pool itself. But I mean, how long has Vertigo been out? Like a couple months now? 2
Oh,
months?
longer than that, right?
3 months? I don't feel like it's been out too long, but it probably won't come out again for them again soon, would be my guess.
No, and let's see here. When was Vertigo added to the map pool? I'm just curious. March of 2019. It was
Okay, so
added.
it's been a little time now.
Yeah, so it's been long enough. North has definitely been in some other tournaments to do that. I just thought that was kind of a crazy stat, but yeah, apart from that game against Liquid where they went 16-12 on Vertigo, which I think we are starting to learn Vertigo is just a map that you go 16-12 on. Like, really, I think that's just Counter-Strike now. Like, we talked about it when that patch was initially released, that you're going to see a lot of closer games. You're not going to see those blowouts anymore, just with the way the economy works, right? You can pick up guns and they don't punish losing as hard and things like that. So I think just in general, we're seeing closer games now. Now when you see a blowout, I think it kind of even holds a little bit more value than it did before.
You're definitely not seeing a lot of eco rounds, so you're getting a lot closer rounds with primarily gunfights. Unfortunately, the Krieg change hasn't really made much of a change. It's still,
Where's everyone out on that one, huh?
man. I'm
Can
really
we
like.
take credit? Can we take credit, Anuj, that we told everyone to calm the F down when that patch came out? I do think we were the industry leading way. Like, we led the industry in telling people, don't freak out. It's not going to change a whole lot.
I kind of wish it changed more than it did, though. Personally, like, I don't like the Krieg era that we're in.
Like, we haven't seen the FAMAS or Galil, I think, apart from a couple times.
Very rarely.
Like,
though.
everyone was like, this has ruined it. Everyone's going to be using a Galil and FAMAS. This is now Call of Duty. And yet people are like, no, we'll wait one more round to get the Krieg. Don't worry. I'm not going to waste money on the FAMAS.
No, yeah. So, I mean, I kind of hope, again, they continue to tweak. I'm not enjoying the Krieg era. I just think it's an overpowered weapon that's really busting the game up right now. But, yeah, I mean, the first round I thought was relatively interesting, just kind of going through some of the score lines. You see MIBR took out FaZe. That was one of the bigger matchups to start off the tournament with. Fnatic and Evil Geniuses, you have like 2 and 3 basically going head to head, or 2 and 4, whatever they are in the rankings now, going head to head in the first round, and Evil Geniuses came out with a spanking 16-3 in that first round.
Evil Geniuses are looking strong, especially coming off of ECS, where I think we both agreed they looked a little weak, right? ECS,
they look shaky, but they came out saying they felt confident, right? So like Ethan came out and said, "Hey, we felt like we kind of rebounded at ECS." So like it's interesting because from their perspective, maybe it was a placement thing, but they feel like they came out playing pretty well. Like they corrected some of the issues that they have.
Oh, I mean, it's
And
working.
yeah, I mean, who are we
Like,
to say anything, right? They stomped 100 Thieves 2-0. Fnatic made that look like a easy match. Um, we have had a couple of teams, big name teams, already knocked out. FaZe being one of them.
knocked
They
out by
didn't.
said 100 Thieves.
Yep, by 100 Thieves, who's playing tomorrow against Fnatic in the lower bracket finals. Yet MIBR knocked out today by Fnatic, and Fnatic had a legendary performance today that needs to be mentioned. Um, Crims, of all people, had the highest kill total in a regulation match. Do you know what that total was, Tim?
69.
Very close. 44 kills in regulation.
So close. So close.
That's
nuts.
insane.
That is nutty.
44 kills in regulation, people. That is like a
Crims too. It's like you said, like that doesn't. I would have been like, Stewie, right? Like if you said, like, so who in this event broke the record? It's like Crims would have been really far down the list,
yeah, would not have topped any list, I don't think.
and
out
they
there,
still
but
lost the map in overtime.
They did. They lost it in overtime. He finished with 47. You couldn't have asked for much more. Now,
I would
thankfully,
snap my keyboard in two if I got 44 kills
see,
and you lost.
and I think he would have had they not won the series. They still came out on top in the series 2-1.
So it's like we can
Again,
all laugh that we lost that one.
yeah, again, had they lost that series and they were eliminated right there, oh man, that would have been nasty.
Like in hockey, when like
want to see where that
the
goes.
losing team had a guy who scores a hat trick. It's just like, oh, buddy.
Yeah. You know who else is looking good in this tournament, Tim? Navi. Navi is getting really good performances from like Flamey and Electronic. Watching Simple and Guardian both up on Train when they were playing, I think it was MIBR,
Maybe
if I'm not mistaken.
could it be
was
anything
really
because they
something
play
special.
Tyloo and MIBR?
Well,
Do we
again,
not?
you
Let's
still-
not take that away from the play. You're still saying the play looks good.
yeah, like I liked who stepped up, right? I like that it wasn't only Simple carrying the team. Guardian, although on one of the maps he didn't, I think it was Train, he didn't have like a high kill total. He might have been bottom fragging on his team. I thought he had some really important kills that saved them a few times from losing a few rounds. I thought, Flamey and Electronic.
Maybe with
again,
all the
but
time Simple is saving by not being able to stream on Twitch, it's elevating the
it's
entire
all
team.
going to practicing. Tomorrow's a real test. I mean, you are right. They did play Tyloo. They did play MIBR. So let's not get like too hyped up on them. But tomorrow, if they come out, they look good against Evil Geniuses. Even if they don't win, if they can look really competitive in that, that would be promising considering how they looked recently. We do have another Astralis Liquid matchup tomorrow.
Beautiful.
In the upper bracket, so the Counter-Strike gods are definitely looking over us, and we'll have another best out of 3. Winner of that will jump straight into the semis.
Astralis and G2. I was able to watch that match today, and for a little bit there, I was telling myself G2 is back. I was really convinced. I almost tweeted it out to make it official, but I didn't. Kenny S was looking insane on Train. Really, I mean, throughout the match, but especially on Train, like he was, he looked like old Kenny S with the op. Like if G2 could play like that, they play ATK and then possibly Renegades or Mouse Sports. I could see them making the playoffs. They were really. I think if they got to play anyone other than Astralis, right? I think they would be moving on.
Yeah, those games were both very back and forth. The Inferno game that they lost and the Train game that they lost. In both games, a comeback had to be made. It was back and forth Counter-Strike. And you're right, it wasn't just Kenny, like Hunter I thought looked really good. Nexa, like both the new additions fit in pretty nicely and held their own. So you're right, had they played anyone but Astralis, they're probably walking away a winner in that series. but they're lined up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Like they don't have the toughest route to go. I think ATK obviously is a very winnable match for them. And Mouse also, although they did take a map on Liquid, I felt like Liquid looked like they were in control and just needed to like tighten up a little bit to really like,
Yeah.
put their foot on their throat.
I won't lie.
But
I don't know what to think of Mouse right now. I want to put them in the realm of obscurity for me right now. They're not doing anything for me in the sense of confidence-wise that they can beat a top-tier team. I feel like right now they're hard stuck.
it's funny because they can beat a top tier team at any point, right? Like it's not surprising.
No, but to
to
like to
me when
stay there,
Mouse-
right? It always seems like they
It's a
can get the
stay.
upset.
I agree. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It seems like they're
think of it
hard
almost
stuck, like 10th best in the world.
like Renegades was for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Like they would come out and win that random. Now the difference is Mouse like would come out and like I think has the ability to win tournaments, right? I think they're that kind of good. They just lack consistency, and so tomorrow will be a good test for them. I think it's not the toughest test for Mouse, and I don't think it's the toughest test for G2. One of those teams is going to have to excel tomorrow, though, and advance through, and so we'll see who gets that opportunity.
Can we also
We
talk
have
about?
a fun weekend ahead of us.
Oh no, it's going to be great Counter-Strike. Amazing
Yeah.
Counter-Strike. Can we talk about one of the more surprising things so far for this tournament, and it wasn't even about the play?
What would that be?
The fact that Renegades has resurrected from the CSGO grave. Like, the last thing I was
Back.
expecting to see, that's right, no one even noticed that we were bringing up the Renegades for CSGO. That is because, like, right before this event, somehow Renegades bought the roster out from Greyhound.
They took that 100 Thieves money, they put 98% in the bank, and then they took that 2% and made an offer Greyhound couldn't refuse.
And it's just saying, because we were even saying, like, after they sold that team to 100 Thieves, we were like, well, what games are they going to go into now? Because where are you going to go to Counter-Strike, right? Greyhound is already the top, now the fan favorite for Australia.
Yep.
Um,
And they'll hold that title, right? Like that's good enough, probably. You don't need to be the best team in the world to be profitable, right? You just
No.
need to be good in a market that you're in, understand how it works, and they obviously have something that has worked, right? Because they made a good chunk of change on that 100 Thieves deal. 100 Thieves bought technically a top 10 team in the world,
yeah.
right? Greyhound is not that, and not really close to that. So
So you think
There's
that's
going
it?
to be-
Just Renegades mentality. Let me ask you this then. And maybe there's more to this story. Maybe contracts were expiring and players weren't going to re-sign anyway, so Renegades said, all right, we're going to sell it off. But if you're a Renegades fan, would you be a little annoyed? The fact that let's say you were a lifelong Renegade fan, Detroit Renegades, and from Australia, that you're a lifelong fan, you finally your team is constant top 10, competing against the best teams in the world. That roster gets sold out, and you're like, what the hell? And then they immediately jump right back into the scene with a far less skilled roster.
Well, Counter-Strike fans are unique that way because if you were a Renegades fan, then you're a 100 Thieves fan now. I don't think you just stayed loyal to Renegades for the sake of staying loyal to Renegades. I think you were a JKS fan, an AZR fan. Like, I think you were a fan of that team, and now you're a 100 Thieves fan. I follow players in Counter-Strike. I know you have Cloud9, and I know there's like a lot of, we call them like the Cloud9 fanboys, but that's because they were like really NA's only hope. I think as a whole, for most Counter-Strike fans, especially fans in the European scene, unless you're like, again, Russia, kind of tied to Navi, NA, kind of tied to Cloud9, although we are seeing that shift. There's a lot more Liquid and all that, fans out there.
I think that would be until Cloud9 comes back.
If and when they come back, they
'Cause-
they announced that they are, but if and when they come back, yes.
Because we
But
even see it
Liquid
like
is,
at
like,
events.
a
Liquid does
fan
not get
favorite.
that crowd going. I've been to enough events now with Liquid to be convinced that they don't captivate the crowd like Cloud9 does.
No, I mean Cloud9 is more like the optic to me in COD than
Yeah, that's a
Liquid
good
ever will
comparison.
be. But I think a lot of people are rooting for Liquid. I don't think like Liquid has like a it's just not as rowdy of a fan base. And again, that's why the Cloud9 fanboys are called the Cloud9 fanboys, because they were loud, they were proud at events, they were
Obnoxious. Right?
obnoxious, so that
Great.
that's
Good fun.
that's what they were. But again, I think in Counter-Strike, for the most part, people are fans of players, and we'll follow them, wherever they go, unless again, it is like the national team, like the MIBRs for Brazil,
Right.
or things of that sort.
So either way, though, I think you're looking at a good weekend of Counter-Strike action for sure. And I think after this week, you have Blast Pro. And don't quote me, but I believe that will pretty much mark the end of the Counter-Strike calendar. You might have CS Summit somewhere in there. I'm not 100% sure.
You do. It's December 12th.
Okay,
coming
so
up
that's
here
also
next
next
week.
weekend.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, next weekend you have Summit and Blast Pro, and that I think would mark the end of the year for Counter-Strike. So enjoy it while it's here, folks, because we only got a couple more weeks of it, and then we got that little hiatus where things don't really happen kind of until like the major starts ramping up. I think teams kind of take it slow for that. So looking forward to it, though, for sure. Let's get into some e-news, shall we?
Let's do it.
In Counter-Strike, you have OG Esports announcing their roster. Anuj, I'll do the pleasure.
Man, yeah, so the long-awaited, highly anticipated OG Esports making their return, or their debut, I should say. They come in with NBK, obviously a legendary French scene player, really coming in, I think, as the mastermind of this team, if I had to guess. But NBK, Alexi B, again, that's the former ENT player. His contract just was like alleviated December 1st, or like leave December 1st. So he is part of the team. Valde, again, another strong leader, I feel. Valde coming from North. Isa, he's been on Hellraisers for the past 3 years, has a great track record, has played in high-level tournaments, has played on the big stage. And then Mantu, a little bit more of an unknown in this sense, will be taking over the Opera role for them. And they'll be debuting pretty soon, Tim. We'll see them, I think, next weekend is what they're saying.
Summit.
At CS Summit. So I think this is an exciting lineup. I think this lineup will need a moment to gel and figure out people's roles and
I see
how
a lot
they're
of people that didn't work out on their other team. So I'm interested to see where they fall.
They have a lot of leadership here. So if they can split up the duties properly and figure out whose strengths are mid-game calling, early game calling, late game calling, and divide that nicely, and Mantu can be a good Opera, a solid Opera at the tier 1 level, I think they have something special there. So excited to see what comes of this team.
Reports from Richard Lewis and some other folks out there saying that talent has not been paid for Star Ladder major events from earlier this year. This also complies with Henry G, if you've noticed, said that he's not going to work a Star Ladder event until everyone is paid. Star Ladder then came out with a statement that's saying, we don't know what you guys are talking about. Everyone's been paid. Here's the details.
And Henry G being the only one that hasn't been paid due to like bank issues that he's supposed to be aware of. Now, again, that Star Ladder's comments, I'm interested to see the reaction from this, because somebody's lying.
Yeah.
Hello, like, I mean, there's something's not adding up here. Star Ladder is saying you've been paid. The talent saying they haven't been paid. I tend to side with the talent in this situation.
Multiple talent is saying they're not paid.
There would be no reason for them to lie. It would make no sense for them to lie and hurt their reputation with the tournament organizer. So I'm a little confused as to Star Ladder's statement, saying, like, did you just pay them right before you made the statement? And if that's the case, that's a bad look too. But I think the talent needs to kind of band together here. If they want to make a change, it has to be done.
I think responsibility falls on both parties here, right? Because Star Ladder is saying, look, it's our standard that we pay people within 3 months of the event, because it just takes 3 months for them to get their sponsorship money, which then they use to pay the talent. And apparently this is standard and well known, and that's just how it works. If that's the case, maybe
within the standard time
it
frame.
needs to be clear to these talent people that, hey, this is how it works, right?
But like these are seasoned professionals that we're talking about here that
You
work
would
the major,
hope.
right?
You
These
would
are
hope.
not. Well, Henry G and all these guys, and
Well, I'm just saying you would
I mean,
hope they
what
would
about-
know.
Yeah, I mean, they know. I guess it's just that there has to be something else here. Something is not adding up for this to be a story. Because why make it a story if it didn't need to be one? It only hurts the relationship between the two people that this matters between, right? They're going to have to work together again.
Yeah.
There's plenty of Star Ladder events, so interesting how that happened there. Something we just mentioned a moment ago, Jack Entienne, the CEO of Cloud9, says they will remain in CSGO after a Reddit rant was kind of posted out there about what's going on with Cloud9. They've been quiet. Are they even staying in CSGO? The rumors of half the roster getting bought out by Gen G has been kind of quiet here as of late. So didn't really know a whole lot about what was going on there, but Jack came out and said, we're staying.
Literally,
And we will-
that's
yeah,
all he
literally
said.
He goes, we stay. More details to come when we're ready. So we'll kind of see where that ends up, and kind of to stay along the
You
old
kind of wonder
Cloud9
though
theme here.
how he's going to approach it, right? Are they just gonna, if Cloud9 wanted to, they could unzip their pants and whip it out on the table and just show everyone what's up, right? If they wanted to, they could. That's what it's always amazed me. Everyone always says they're a great org to play with and be working for and everything like that. I can't imagine they're, conservative with their pay to some of the top players. So I don't know. You just want, with how it's been handled, it better be good.
I think they're buying out Astralis.
100%. I could see it. My God.
Stewie 2K becomes the first NA player to eclipse the $1 million in earnings. That's quite exciting for Stewie. It sounds like he's quite rich.
Yeah, that's when you think of how young he is, and as far as the CS scene, right? It's pretty impressive. But winning a major will do that to you. Do
This
you
is
remember
like
that?
nothing
Do you remember when he
compared to
won the
what he's
major on
earned.
Cloud9?
What was that, the 2018 Boston major
Beat
or
FaZe.
something of that sort?
Good times. In Overwatch, they've announced it. So it was kind of funny. They finally announced the patch should be coming next week. This will be the shield nerf patch. So hopefully we start seeing changes, approaching with Overwatch League kind of also around the corner. Kind of been quiet on that, but enough to talk about. So hopefully that will change Overwatch. I'm not going to lie, between Halo, Call of Duty, and every other game I play, Overwatch has kind of been dead to me, mainly because of the way the direction they've taken the game, the shields and everything like that. And I think a lot of people are on that sentiment. So we'll see what happens. I'm not holding my breath. I don't know how much confidence I have that they know what direction they want to take the game, but we'll find out soon enough. Call of Duty finally announced, the Mutineers for Call of Duty League finally announced their roster. What did you think of this, Anuj?
Better late than never, though. I mean, it's weird how the timing worked for all of this, but Havoc, Mox, Frosty, Pristini, Skies, Pristini coming from United with a couple of rings on his finger there. It's a good roster. I don't know exactly how it's all gonna fit together and what they bring to the table. I'm not, deep in a lot of these guys' careers, so I know they have some talented players on the roster. I feel like there's more talented ones out there, but
Not the
new
worst,
game, you
not
kind
the
of never know
best.
what to expect. So
It'll be interesting to see, and at least they got their roster announced before, the devs put anything to do with the league and the game. But hey, they added a store, so we have that. We talked about this in our Discord here, which you can join, by the way, at our website, tcr.gg, or our Twitter account at The Center Ring has links to our Discord. We were talking about in our Discord with some listeners earlier today about how expensive Minnesota and how expensive the tickets are and the merch and everything like that. And I was like, it upsets me now. I'm to the point where I'm upset that they are almost willingly ignoring the league at this point to try to hype it up. Like, this is going to be a blitzkrieg attack to try to hype it up before the season starts. I know it. They're going to add it in the game. They're going to throw up CDL crap all over to get that hype going, when in reality they could have been doing it this entire time.
And then just launch with a CDL ranked play mode.
Yeah, but no, it's not going to happen. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be happy with it, but I'm excited for it to start. I'm just upset that the devs are really just treating it like they would any other CWL event and not your brand new franchise league that people have paid millions of dollars to be a part of. Please. The XFL is even giving more than you. Like, this is becoming a joke. Anyways, I digress. In other news, Zero, formerly known as the best Ultimate Smash player in the world before he retired, announced that he's moving to Facebook streaming. Another one leaving Twitch for Facebook. This was after Disguised Toast went.
Yeah, and he can still make content for YouTube as part of his like agreement, I heard.
Yeah, they'll still do that.
You know, it's just getting started.
It really is.
Like,
it is funny
you know,
though, because between him and Disguised Toast, they all say the same thing, right? We just moved over because we think we can have a better chance with our community and blah blah blah. Bro, you moved over because they backed up the truck. Like,
and that's okay. Like, again,
it's okay. That's what I'm saying. I don't blame
that's
you.
perfectly fine. Like, that is perfectly fine. You're doing it for the money. That's cool. You know, he's good with his community, and I think he has a loyal community. So I actually think he'll be fine in terms of numbers. Also, like, I don't think people will quit watching him because he's so well respected within his game, and that's a tight knit community. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Esports Engine, which is run by MLG co-founder Adam Apicella.
Sure, man.
Apicella. I'll go with one of those.
Nailed it.
Anyways, he's MLG co-founder. He was recently on the Eavesdrop podcast with Hex. He and his team over there at Esports Engine will be helping produce all of the Huntsman CDL events. And that's big news just because, again, he's coming from the Call of Duty background, kind of been there since the start. His new company getting an opportunity to be involved, you know, it's who you know in this game. And we all know that. And so for him and his team to get that opportunity to be doing that is huge. And then Tim, finally, this is big. I mean, this is big mobile esports news.
Speaking of CSGO not having a big tournament with a big prize pool, you have the how do you say it? Tencent. Tencent announces these are the guys who Chinese company, right?
They own 40% of Fortnite. They own 5% of Activision Blizzard. They own they own a little bit of everything that you love in gaming. So they are very, very large. They're obviously the owners
very,
of
very
PUBG.
rich.
Very, very rich.
So they
They're
announced
announcing go ahead.
a PUBG mobile esports league system for 2020 and the total prize pool of over $5 million.
That's insane.
What?
That's crazy. We both know Noah Gragson and Dale Earnhardt are probably retiring at this point from NASCAR. And
Let me tell you what. After our interview with Noah Gragson, NASCAR driver and PUBG fan, drives the PUBG car, I downloaded PUBG, got 18 kills my first game, and uninstalled it afterwards because I figured I'd never peak like that again. I might reinstall it now.
now's the time. I mean, I'm getting back in. I'm installing my hacks as we speak, so I will be involved with that. No, that's really, man, that's big. And again, I know PUBG Mobile is huge, and when we got a chance to talk to, you know, the captains from Team India when we were over there at BlizzCon for Overwatch, they were like, dude, everybody plays
everywhere
PUBG Mobile.
over in India. Apparently.
Everybody's playing PUBG Mobile. Like, I mean, they're traveling across all of Asia, right? And they see it constantly. They're like, you know, it's not just India. It's just like it's everywhere in the Eastern market. It's huge, and so you know, for them to put that kind of money towards it, good for them. You can't hate on it, and it makes it more. It's definitely going to put some eyes on it. So
Yeah, it's hard to keep knocking mobile games if they're going to be putting up leagues worth $5 million.
yeah,
It's hard. It's hard to make fun of mobile gaming, but you know what? We'll still find a way. Don't worry.
we will.
Don't,
No, don't
worry
We
about
will.
that. It's still mobile gaming. Come on now. You know how this works. You know how we do it. Well, that will just about do it for this episode of The Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, episode 196. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening. If you skipped around or listened to the whole darn thing, love you all the same. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Hit us up. Let us know how we do the show. You can join our Discord. The link is in the profile there. You can also find it on our website, tcr.gg. We will be back Sunday night streaming the episode live for Monday. So be sure and jump on Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, whatever you want to do. I think we stream on all of them for now. Until, someone wants to pay us. That's how that works now. Hell, I'll even join Zero at Facebook Gaming if the price is right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so check us out there if you want. If not, it's all good. It is all good. Talk about some ESL Pro League, wrapping up everything else going on there. I think that's all I got. So for Anuj, I'm Tim. We'll see ya.